We're going to dive into the AFC North. We mentioned the loaded AFC West on the previous block, and now we're going to talk about a different but still loaded division in the AFC North. And what maybe the most interesting question about this division, especially when you consider old Breach here and his being a fan. I mean, like this is the perfect group to talk about the AFC North, right? We have BMAC, obviously a two-time Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and John Breach, who has seen the Bengals lose 3 times in the Super Bowl in his life. And he wasn't there for all 3 of them, but he was there for at least 2 of them. So you got that going for you, Breach. So let me ask the question. Here's the question I'm going to ask you. If you had to pick one quarterback in the AFC North to have on your team for the next 5 years, who are you taking, Breach, and why is it Mitchell Trubisky?
Well, I think we all know the answer is not Mitchell Trubisky. It is Joe Burrow. Look, we can go through this entire division. I can tell you why it's not Lamar Jackson, why it's not Deshaun Watson, why it's not whoever the heck the Steelers are going to throw out. I don't even think BMAC can pick a Steelers quarterback here. But look, we'll go through all those quarterbacks. Only one of them has proven to be have no problem with handling the pressure in the playoffs, getting his team to a Super Bowl, and that is Joe Burrow. He's already gotten to 1. His future is bright. They've got weapons around him. They just stacked the offensive line. Burrow looks like the quarterback of the future in the AFC North. Lamar Jackson, we don't even know if he's going to be in the AFC North after the 2022 season because the Ravens can't get a long-term contract done with him. Also, he's never even made it to a conference title game. We don't even know if Deshaun Watson's going to be on the field to start the 2022 season because he might be suspended. So if you are giving me a quarterback for the next 5 years, I am taking Joe Burrow, and you guys aren't allowed to, so you don't talk about Burrow.
Wow. Well said, right, Will? He did a real good job. Are you surprised, by the way, that Breach decided to go with Joe Cool? No surprise, right? Captain Obvious. Well, for me, I'm going with the guy who has shown the ability to make sweet tea with no sugar. And I'm saying that in regards to being productive as an individual passer, quarterback, playmaker with nothing around him. And I'm taking Deshaun Watson. Yes, John, I agree with you. We don't know exactly if he will be in uniform the entire season this year, but the question is for the next 5 years. For the next 5 years, give me Deshaun Watson because he has the IT factor. He has the it factor. In Houston, when you look at the lack of structure, the lack of consistency when it comes to building a sound organization, he did not have that. But one thing he still had in his pockets was numbers, outstanding numbers. And oh, by the way, his winning percentage is basically a fraction above Joe Burrow. Look at his numbers. Look at everything he's been able to do. Look at the passer rating. The passer rating, remember, they traded away his best pass catcher, DeAndre Hopkins, and he just kept flourishing in the offense, throwing to the who's of who that Houston provided him with. So one would think we will see better numbers. I do believe that. I do believe he will be suspended at some point in time, but the question is for the next 5 years. When you look at his talent, when you look at his accuracy, when you look at the IT factor, the athleticism, and just the heart and grit to be a big-time playmaker in some of the more clutch moments in ball games, give me number 4 and watch us do numbers. Oh, by the way, I used to love sweet tea, but since I don't drink anything with sugar anymore, I really don't touch sweet tea, but it used to be one of my favorite beverages.
The smart thing about that sweet tea line, BMAC, and you know, as a Southerner, like I did greatly appreciate it. It also helps you avoid the possibility of accidentally dropping a cuss word if you try to do the chicken salad route. You know, like you try to go like, I made chicken salad out of chicken something else, and then all of a sudden, yada, 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 you're fired from your job for saying a bad word on TV. Anyway, I digress. I'm going to go Lamar Jackson here. And I think all 3 answers are perfectly viable. Joe Burrow led the Bengals to a Super Bowl this year, as everyone knows, because they lost to the Rams in that Super Bowl where they didn't win the Super Bowl. You know, Deshaun Watson, elite player on the field when he is, when he is capable, when he is there. And, you know, certainly this season is up in the air, but for the next 5 years, I expect him to be good. That's why the Browns paid the price they did. Lamar Jackson, though, is the only MVP on this list. And man, I'd probably bet it again at 20-1. I don't think Joe Burrow should be 13-1, shouldn't be ahead of him. Watson at 25-1, probably a little tough because we don't know what his status is. But Lamar has a unique skill set that no one else has. He is the fastest quarterback in the NFL. He's the most elusive quarterback in the NFL. You can build an offense around him. You can cater to his strengths. And when you do that, and we've seen what happened because the Ravens have done that, he can put together just magical seasons. I feel like people are sort of sleeping on Lamar Jackson here a little bit because of last year. The Ravens were devastated with injuries. They reloaded a bit. It does need some more help at wide receiver, but they added a couple tight ends in the draft, and Mark Andrews continues to develop into an elite level prospect. I fully believe Lamar Jackson has another big season in him. I think the Ravens are pretty good value to win the division, and I will take Lamar as my quarterback over the next 5 years.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.